Hello, everyone. It's Lisa with Serenity Love here, and it is this week's. I am here to bring forth this week's edition of Spiritual Insight through Creative Imagery. I'm sorry it's a day late, but it couldn't be helped. We needed to wait for this. So I am very blessed to be bringing this through. Grateful for my gift and incredibly grateful to have this to provide to you. So I hope that you find as much that you get as much from this as I did. This was very important, and I think it's really, really helpful for the masses. So if you found this, it is meant for you, and I encourage you to please watch it to in its entirety. I don't expect it to be super long. They normally aren't. So just hang in with me, okay? All right. So what I saw was an image of a person, like, a child, but a person, right? Like we did it as adults too. We enjoyed this when we would have, Halloween parties or whatnot. And we'd set up fun things like bobbing for apples with the kids, right? So that's what I saw. I saw like a barrel full of apples. Now, I know that these don't look like apples necessarily, right? But think of apples in the terms of, in this instance, maybe there's, a Granny Smith apple, or there's Red Delicious, or a Cosmic, what are they? They're my favorite too. Cosmic something. Or you've got, Golden Delicious or Pink Ladies, or, like the masses, there's mass amounts of different varieties of apple, and they have different features about them, right? Like they're, some are sweeter, some have thicker skins, that sort of thing, right? So what spirit, and I'm going to now, read from my notes because there's a lot that came through on this. So, but I want you to understand. So if we're bobbing for apples, right? Okay, if think back to those days if we're just going to go face first, just straight into the barrel, right? Without a plan. We're just having a good time. We don't care, whatever. We just don't have a plan. We just don't have a plan. So we close our eyes and we hope for the best, and our face just face forward into the water, right? Now we're holding our breath, right? We're holding our breath. Our mouth is open, attempting to grab onto any apple that we can, right? We don't care what it is. We just want an apple. We just want an apple. We just want an apple. And so if we're just going after any available apple, we lack strategy, right? We're lacking strategy, and we're just okay with whatever we get. We might not be, but that's what we're putting out, right? That's the truth of it. We're okay with whatever we get because we didn't have a plan. Okay? This apple, right? Even though like if we can only see the parts that are floating, right? So we might not be able to tell that underneath there's a big bruise, or heck, maybe half of this one's missing, or dang, that one's moldy and rotten under there. We wouldn't want that apple, would we? Right? But if we're if we're not taking the time to consider what we're going after, then we're going to get whatever we get, right? And we might not be happy with what we got. And maybe we won't get anything at all. Right? Okay? So spirit is like, and so I talked about this already. Maybe you prefer a pink lady apple. Maybe you want one of these pink ladies. Okay? So all the rest of, anything that isn't pink, right? Like you don't want those. We're going after a pink lady. We want this. Or maybe we want one that is, has a nice thin skin, unlike the Red Delicious or the Golden Delicious that have a thicker skin, right? And they're not as sweet. Maybe, or maybe we want the Johnny Smith that are just a little sour, that little tart bit. They're great for wrapping in caramel, right? Maybe that's what we want. But if we're not focused, we're not going to get it. 444. If we're not focused, we're not, we end up with whatever we get, right? And that may not be what we want. So with a plan or a strategy in place, right? You go into the barrel with your eyes open. And you've already made some decisions up front, right? We decided we wanted that pink lady. We decided we wanted a thin skin. And now part of the strategy that we're coming up with, right, is that we're going to kind of move these around. Maybe we'll get in there with our nose or our tongue or our lips or something, or our cheeks even, right? And we're going to move those little pink ladies around, and we're going to pick the one we really want, right? And then a part of our strategy is, now how are we going to get it, right? So part of our strategy can be that we are going to push this over to the side of the barrel where we've got some leverage, to push up against. So make it easier to bite into so we can grab what we're looking for, right? Okay, strategy. Strategy is important. 555. Strategy is important. Changing up what we're doing so we can get the results we're looking for. That's the answer. Right? Focus on what we want. What are you really, really looking for? But we have to start there. You have to start there. What is it you're looking for? And so, okay, let's go here. You look around for the specific apple you want. You figure out the best ways and approach to get it, right? So you're going to push it to the side. We talked about that. And you're going to figure all this out. You're going to figure all this out. You're going to do some considerations. You're going to do some considering before you leap, right? Okay? We're not just throwing a dart at the board, hoping something sticks and hoping that you get that bullseye. Unless you're really good, it's probably not going to happen. So, maybe you get lucky. Right? So there's always that. So Spirit says, when you are going after something, right, or looking for an answer to something, so here's our analogy, right? So when you're looking for something, you're going after something, approach it with strategic planning, okay? They want us using strategic planning. Really, truly consider what it is that you need. So they said, understand the situation better, okay? So your questions can best be answered with the utmost clarity, where the greatest success can be found or had. Okay, let's say that again. Understand the situation better. Understand it. What is the outcome you're looking for? So whatever the question is that's perplexing you, and they talk about... So focusing on the outcome, work backwards. Okay. So work backwards if needed to figure out the appropriate questions and actions needed for maximum success. So if we look at the end goal, right, being, whatever it is for you, we're trying to get this apple, right? I want this pink lady apple. Now, what questions do I need to ask myself, and what actions do I need to take so that way I can have the best opportunity of getting that apple, right? So focus on the outcome and work backwards if you need to. Don't bob without a focused outcome first, or you may just end up with a wet face. And and again, analogies are a big thing here. They said tears of frustration. So that wet face can be tears of frustration because you're constantly doing something, but you're not realizing the success that you need, and you become frustrated. And I don't know about you, but I have been there. And in fact, I will say that I am there with one particular topic in my life. And so this is very meaningful to me. And I truly hope that you find the same level of meaning for you. It seems so simple when it's told to us, right? Like, yeah, that makes sense. Why wouldn't I do that? But have you been? For my own self, and I will own it right here and right now, that not as clearly maybe as I thought that I had. So I'm going to revisit this, and I'm going to listen to what is being told to me wholeheartedly, because I certainly want to see this with some resolution, right? And I think that's what all of us want when we are in a place where we've got a question that is really needing answered, is we want that resolution. 10-10. New start, fresh start, do over. Okay? So don't hold yourself, don't allow anything to come between you and your success. And right now, just push it all out of the past and be okay. We're going to start again. And I'm going to listen to what Spirit is saying, what the guidance that they're providing me, and I am going to go forward, moving from here to here now. I'm going to work my way backwards if that's what I need to understand what it is that I truly need to do. So that way I can get more clarity, right? So they said, circle back to the issue before you and begin again. But this time from a strategic mindset, and ask different, more clearly defined questions so the clarity you want and need can be found. Don't allow for assumptions. Keep digging till you get to the full truth you seek. Spirit is there, waiting to provide all which is needed. You simply need to ask the right, direct questions, because they give us answers, but if you're not asking quite the right question, the answer they're giving you might be more confusing than it is helpful, right? Because you aren't sure what you're asking for. So how can they give you this perfect answer for you when you are unsure? So don't assume that you understand all that is coming through. Ask more questions, ask more clarifying questions, dig deeper, keep going, because you're so close. You're so close. 12-12. You're on the verge of a breakthrough. And Spirit is here to confirm that right here, right now. Listen to what they're saying. Circle back. Start again. Ask the right questions. Take the appropriate actions. Come from a place of strategy. Bob with focused strategy for greatest success. Sounds simple. And you know what? It is. We just have to know what we're after. Look at the outcome that we want and figure out what it is, the right questions to get there. Can't be general, right? We can't just throw stuff out. 13. We can't just throw it out. I am guilty of that. I will own it. But no more. Now I am going to work on being more direct, because I, like you, have things I'm working through, and they are important to me, right? And one of which has been plaguing me for a really long time, and it has been painful. Ooh, it's been painful. And that tears of frustration I get. Ugh, enough. Let's agree right here, right now, that we've had enough of the old way of doing things, of just throwing stuff out and seeing what sticks. And I'm certain that you, like myself, have had moments of enough clarity where we're asking good questions, but if we're not continually following up and digging even deeper, we're not getting to the root of it. And that truly is what they're asking us to figure out, and what we need, right? In order to heal, we have to feel, we have to dig, and we have to get to the bottom, because we have to undo that of which created whatever this issue is that we're dealing with, right? So we have to go, we also have to go backwards to the beginning of it so we can heal it to move forward. So, all right. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for your patience and the delay. I'm sorry for a day's delay on this. And actually, I'm going to go back a little further. I'm sorry for a couple weeks delay on this, because I've missed a couple of weeks because there has been stuff in my way. And I was able to push past this resistance. And I'm doing this Monday night, and it's literally 8:30. And where I would otherwise like to be doing something different, I wanted 15:15. I chose and I choose to be here with you tonight. And I choose to listen to Spirit. And I choose to hear what was needed to come. I chose to hear what it was and is needed to come through for each of us, because it's important. So make the same choice that Spirit is giving to you, and circle back and try again. And don't beat yourself up for not getting it the first time. It's okay. We're not perfect. We're learning and we're growing, and this is a beautiful journey. So thank you for being here with me. From my heart to yours. We'll see you again next Sunday. I promise.